blood-brain barrier.
Right.
So that in itself is just a danger, it should, but you get the parents that think they're doing the right thing, but it just needs a lot of research.
Right. Whoa.
Yeah.
So out of the 5 that you've done so far, how many of them are healthy starts for families?
I think I've done 3.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done, and another one coming tonight. So.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on track to do 50 a month if we keep up this kind of activity.
Yeah.
So and it's really been good because I think everybody has kind of really got excited about it.
Yeah. And I've got 2 new teamers this month.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got my daughter joining. She goes away next week, so when she comes back, she's joining up.
Right.
And then I've got a friend who I met today. I had a meeting with her today, and she's going to let me know by the weekend. But I'm pretty sure it's almost 99.9% sure that it's going to be a yes. So.
Okay, and this is a friend of yours.
Yeah, she's a customer. She's on Juice Plus already.
Right. So she knows the benefits of it.
Definitely, yeah.
And there is no better way to build a business than building a business with your friends and family. And that's what you've got as your first 2 distributors. Happy days.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah, it's taken my daughter a while for it to sink in, but she's there today because she actually sat in on the meeting today. So I did a little, I did a talk basically and told her everything. So, and I said to her, just off the off chance, just pop in for a cup of tea, just come and listen to see how you think I'm delivering it.
Right.
And at the end, she said, "I want to sign up, Mum." I'm like, oh, okay.
That's amazing.
I know.
Yeah. Well, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So.
Good. And Harriet, are we going to see your? Hi, Safia. How are you? You're on mute.
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. Well, I'm really good. I went to Scotland at the weekend and got a taste of cold weather, rain, and all the rest of it. So I'm back in Portugal now, and I'm very happy.
Good.
And Harriet, are you there? Where are you, Harriet? You're hiding again. There she is. We'd like to see you in the picture, you see.
Hello.
Where's the rest of your team? Where's your upline and all the rest of it? They've all disappeared.
Well, I know they're all up in Nottingham anyway, so I think they're doing stuff. I know Alex property they've got.
Okay.
And Natasha's probably getting babs from Air Cadets.
Okay. Well, listen, I think we should start, and if we move along and they join in, we'll mute them anyway. Why doesn't everybody put their phones on mute? And I will see if I can mute Katie. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, welcome everybody, and well done for everyone that participated in our little challenge for this week, but for the month really. And I've just done a calculation that if we divided the month by the number of days and we've set ourselves a goal for 50, multiplied it by the days that we actually have gone so far, we needed to do 14.5 PCPs in the month to be on target. And guess how many we've done so far? 14.5, because Leslie says she's got one coming tonight. So that could be 15 by the end of tonight. But we'll have to count the one next. If there's one coming in after tonight, that will count for next week's. So well done to everybody that's kind of put into that and challenge themselves, because it is a challenge. And I think that everybody's kind of like stood up and really, wanted to get to that challenge. Hi, Natasha.
Hello.
Hi, we've started. So if you just put yourself on mute, we'll come back to you later on and we'll ask a few questions. What I'm going to try and do tonight is make this a little bit interactive again. And I hope that you enjoyed last week's call and you got a lot out of it, great. And I think it's great because it challenges me to do something every week as well. And that's fantastic from my point of view. But it also allows me to share the knowledge that I have with you guys. And hopefully, just a little bit of maybe some kind of gold dust might come out of it that will help you move forward to the next level. So I've done a quick presentation because I like presentations. That's my kind of upbringing, etc. And it's easy to do that, and then we can actually kind of maybe be a little bit more interactive. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, you all see that? Thumbs up? Yeah. Okay. There we go. So you all see that? Okay. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is really the power of events for Juice Plus. And I'm sure we all remember last week what the job description of Juice Plus was. Leslie, do you remember the job description of Juice Plus? What was that? Unmute yourself.
Job description. I can't remember, to be honest.
So what do you do on a normal basis with Juice Plus? What do you do? Three things.
What do I do?
Yeah, three things. Three things.
Go to events.
Right. That's what we're looking at tonight. But yeah, that's number 3.
Yeah.
Number 1.
And consistency.
Number 1. What do you do? You
share your story, share the products.
Share the products and share your story, share the business and sell the event. So that's our very basic job description. And if you have that in your head, I always remember my upline in America used to say to me, Gordon, the 3 important income producing activities of our business is sharing the product, sharing the business and selling the event. But selling the event is the most important and highest paid activity. But guess what? It's the hardest one. Yeah? And why is it the hardest one? Well, here's the secret. You're dealing with people. Because when we actually try to get people to an event, why are they coming to that event in the first place? You've got to ask yourself, well, they're coming to see a substantiation of the information that you've actually given them. And because they're not quite sure about the information that you've given them, it might take several times to actually get them there. And that's why it's difficult, because people might not be able to do it the first time, the second time, the third time. And I always remember my history lessons at school, and it was Robert Wallace, or Robert Bruce, Robert Wallace, and there was a spider. He'd been defeated in a battle, and there was a spider, and he tried 7 times to build this nest, and he kept on falling down, kept on going up, kept on falling down. And sometimes it takes several times, if not 6 or 7 times, for someone to come to an event. And that's why to sell an event is so important, that it's the highest paid activity. So I actually looked up what a definition of event is. Can you all see that? Yeah? So an event is a thing that happens or takes place. Fair enough. It could be a planned public or social occasion. It could be something that takes place and something of importance, one of importance. But for me, I think the Juice Plus, for us, an event is creating an environment so that your prospects can substantiate their vision. Does that make sense? Yeah? So what you told them, you want to get your people to an event so that they can actually substantiate all the information that you've given them, and they create that vision that you've got for the Juice Plus company, and they will take that forward. And here's the funniest thing, that I've got people to events, and sometimes I've kind of not quite told them all the story about the events and all the rest of it. But when they come to an event, I introduce them to a friend of mine who's involved in Juice Plus, and they take what they've been saying as gospel, but I've been telling them the same thing for several weeks beforehand. And that's the power of events. You know, getting your prospects to an event is so important, because what you're going to see is you're going to see a little bit of magic that happens there, and they will actually relate to someone in the room. Hasn't necessarily got to be you, but it's someone in the room that they will relate to. And I can tell you the amount of times that I've taken, you know, a single mum turns up at the meeting, or a single mum turns up and gives a testimonial, or I've taken an accountant to the meeting, an accountant stands up and gives a testimonial. And it's that magic that happens at those events that substantiates the vision that they create for themselves. And that's the important thing. Our business is about creating the vision, and that vision is something that you will then keep with you for the rest of your life in Days and Juice Plus. And coming to an event, whether it's a weekly event, a monthly event, quarterly event, or a 6 monthly or yearly event, that's the fuel that you inject into yourself that will keep you going to the next event. Does that make sense? Yeah? Good, good, you're all nodding. So, here's one of the keys of events and why we need them. Do you all know what this is? Do you all recognize it? It's a cooker, isn't it? Yeah? So this is a typical cooker, and this is a typical scenario that we have with the people that we speak to. Okay? If you can imagine, we've got 5 rings here, and the middle ring I've actually put on full power, number 9. Yeah? The one at the top left-hand side is on number 7. The one at the bottom is on 5. The one at the left-hand side bottom is on 3. And the first one is on 1. Okay? So I've got someone that's really excited, and I liken them to a glass of water, cold water. They know nothing about our business. They know nothing about our products. They know nothing about network marketing. Okay? So if I got that cold water and I immediately put it in the middle ring, what would happen? Alicia, what would happen to that glass of water?
It would explode.
Exactly. Guess what would happen to our prospects if we took them to something that they hadn't really been kind of like, you know, warmed up for? Yeah? They would explode. And, you know, when I first got involved, I used to absolutely regurgitate everything that I knew about Juice Plus in about 4.5 nanoseconds. And I just inundated with everybody with so much information that they just exploded. And I couldn't understand why they wouldn't come to an event or speak to me afterwards, which was quite interesting. But so the whole essence of actually prospecting and getting people to come to meetings, and you can do this in different ways. You know, you can do this using social media, you can do this online, offline, whichever way you feel comfortable with. But you start them off with, like the cold water, you put them on the ring with the number 1 temperature, okay? And that might be chat to them about what you're doing and find out a little bit about them, see if there's some commonality there, see if there's something that you can actually relate to and actually put the Juice Plus business and products against, yeah? Once you find out that information, you may just want to find out and move them on to the next ring, which is the number 3 ring. And guess what happens? Because the glass is warm and the water is warm now in the glass, if you put it onto the ring with the number 3, it's not going to burst. It's going to continue to keep warm. So you might want to maybe send them a video. You might want to let them try some complete products. You might want to give them some gummies for the children to see if the Healthy Starts for Families might be something of interest to them. And you're now beginning to get into the scenario where you're warming up that prospect. And by the way, you're doing this several times, and the more people you do it with, the more you will get a result from this. Because if you're only doing it with 1 or 2 people, you're never going to get a result from it. it actually takes a whole load of people to really start to get results. And also, once you start to do this, you become more expert every single time, and that's important. So once you've actually kind of tried a little bit of the product, maybe given a little bit more information, you maybe want to take them on a Zoom call. Not necessarily like this one, but maybe a business Zoom call, or we have other Zoom calls. We have maybe interviews, like who listened to Lewis Hopkins the other night? Yeah, what was that like? Amazing, amazing. And it's something that if you haven't taken loads of notes on that one, you really need to, because it was a fantastic call. But that's the kind of thing maybe that you would want to really start to warm your prospects on. So if you take your glass from number 3 heat, it's getting warmer, you can feel the temperature's going up, and you put it onto number 5 heat, then you start to feel that the prospect is getting warmer. You maybe want to do something else. You maybe want to get them to have a call with your upline. You maybe want to have a Skype or a Zoom call with a third party so that they can start to bring that substantiation. And the interesting thing is, you can actually get a lot more result from doing a one-to-one call with your upline, and they can actually help you get that person to an event, because they can say things to your prospect that you can't say to them. And it's very interesting. I can say to somebody, oh, Leslie, your friend, so where are you at the moment? Have you tried the products? No, you haven't tried them. Well, listen, my recommendation is you would try the products. And this is what I would do. I would try more than one of the products. And you might not be willing to say that to start off with, but I will say that. And because I'm the expert in your prospect's eyes, then they say, well, if Gordon said that, that's what I should do. Or if Michelle said that, that's what I should do. And we tell our stories as well, and that's what will happen. That will then move them on to the hotter ring. And by that time, we've actually got them very close to coming to a meeting, and that's the next stage. So you may do a presentation online, you may kind of fix them up, but you say, look, the next stage for us, before you actually get involved as a distributor, is come to a presentation. What should I be looking for the next couple of weeks? And here's the key. Give them 2 or 3 alternatives, dates. Never just give them one. Oh, there's one next week. Give them 2 or 3 alternative dates that you've got events coming on. And one of the things that you have to become as a distributor is a bit of a billboard. Yeah? You've got to know when the events are, where they are, who's running them. If the people that you bring into that event would be able to relate to some of the people there. And if you can't make the event, and the event, say, like there's one tonight in London, then, phone up somebody that is going to the event and say, by the way, could you look after my prospect? They're coming, please make them welcome, sit them down, introduce them to some people, etc., etc. So by that time, you've got them really hot, put them in the middle ring, and they start to bubble. And that's the kind of exciting part, because then you can actually get them going with all the different things that you want to do as a new distributor. But you get the scenario. You can't take the cold glass and put it in the middle. You've got to go around the other rings before you get there. Do you all agree? Thumbs up? Yay! Okay. So let's look at some of the kind of meetings that you can run yourself on a weekly basis. And, I built my whole business on in-home meetings, without a shadow of a doubt. And it was really those that were the most important thing. And what I would do is I would show a video, I would show the products, I'd let everybody try the products, we'd talk about my story, we'd then invite questions, and we'd thoroughly have maybe even a glass of wine at the end of it, just to wrap up the evening. As we've seen with the internet and the world that it comes with, we can do so many different things. We don't even have to leave home to invite people to meetings anymore. We can do Zoom presentations, we can do Zoom interviews, we can do watch parties and all sorts of things with the internet. Old school one-to-one meetings, I still believe in them in a way. And the reason I believe in them in a way is that I'm going to eventually invest my time in somebody that I'm going to be working with for 3 to 5 years, I want to meet them. I want to see them face to face. I want to see whether, I look them in the eye and see whether or not they are speaking the truth and they're going to follow through with everything they say they're going to do. So one-to-one meeting for me is always good. Katie, I know you've been running coffee mornings, and coffee mornings are great. That's the modern way of doing business. And combining business and pleasure is a great way to build your, if you like, residual secondary income. People can relate to that. Going to longer meetings might be not something that they can relate to on a weekly basis. How many coffees do we have? How many coffees do we have when we meet people? We can do 1 or 2 a day necessarily, but that's the great way of actually building your business. So that's the kind of weekly presentations that you can all do as an event that is going to build your business. And the more you do, the more they feed into the next thing, which is the monthly presentation. So as I said tonight, there's a meeting in London at the moment that James Sanderson is running. And I know there's a number of people that would normally come on the call are not on the call because they're at the meeting tonight. And once you've got your person, as I said, on that kind of cooker, on the hot ring, you can actually take them along to that presentation with the substantiation, that they're going to see that other people that are involved. And it's not just them, it's not an experiment, it's been going for a long time. And that monthly presentation is good. And again, if you're not running a monthly presentation in your own locality, you need to do one. I mean, they are the best way of still running your business. And if I look back at all the major people that have built businesses, they built it on presentations. When John Holowati was in his height, he would do a daily presentation, if not 2 or 3 daily presentations in different towns. And it was just hard to keep up with them. But he went on the road for Simon Mitchell's 1,000 Days, and he built a humongous business by doing presentations. And they were short, snappy, to the point, just, they don't have to be too fancy. And one of the things that sell it most of all is the testimonials from the people that are at the presentation. So if you all come together, give your testimonials, that's as good as any kind of presentation about our business. Show a video, keep it simple. That's the best thing. What we're doing as kind of Europline and national marketing directors and people that have gone through this process before is we're laying on these quarterly trainings and vision days for you. And that's the big shot in the arm. That's the thing that is going to give you, if you like, the information that's going to layer your business so that, when you get to a level, you then need another layer of information that will take you to the next level. And that's why we do these vision days. That's why we do these trainings. And that's why it's so important to come along to these vision days, because, whatever it takes to get there, you're going to kind of find something out that you never knew before. And here's the other thing. If you've had a good kind of 3 months up to the last, from the last vision day to this vision day, that vision day needs you. You need to be there to share your experience. If you've had a rough 3 months between the last vision day and the next one, you need to be there to get yourself bolstered up again and relate and connect with people that are doing successful things or more successful things and find out what they're doing. And that's all that I used to do. I remember reading a book and it said, look, if you want to be successful, find somebody that's already successful and model them. Wow. How's that? Find somebody that's already successful and model them, do what they do, and you will have the same success. And that's all I did to start off with. I found people that were successful at trainings, at the vision days that were run. I would kind of speak to them, interview them, find out what they were doing. I'd maybe connect with them. And although they weren't in my downline, I would maybe be a cross-line buddy with them or whatever else. And that's how I built my business. And you can do the same. By coming to these meetings, you can relate to people and really find out who the movers and shakers are. Speaking of which, these are the movers and shakers as far as I'm concerned for last week. Those are the 14 people that actually did customers last week, and those are the people that I'm going to draw out tonight to get one winner from last week. So movers and shakers, there we go. I can give you the list as well. Interspersed with our quarterly days, the company are now also laying on these corporate power days. Has anyone been to a corporate power day? No? I thoroughly recommend them. They are amazing. And what the company have done is they've got this blueprint of already successful national marketing directors or people that are in the ranks coming up very quickly. And I say very quickly, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it takes for them to come up, that have actually had solid businesses, and they're sharing their stories. They're sharing their stories and what got them to where they are, or they're telling a particular thing in terms of, using social media and why that was so important for them, or using the events and why that was so important for them, or whatever. But these corporate power days, if there's one coming to your area, that is something that I would certainly put in my diary. And I went to one recently in Maidstone, and I was blown away with the actual kind of content and the information. I always say, and one of my mentors used to say that a short pencil is better than a long memory. That's a good one, isn't it? And even now, at that corporate day, there's my notes from the corporate day that I took, and they started with James Sanderson, and then they went on to Constance, and then they went on to Gemma Lee Hunt, and then from there to Lauren O'Donoghue, then on to Lucy Hawkins. I probably took 7 or 8 pages of notes. Guess what? I'm a presidential marketing director. I'm sitting next to people that are dealers and they're not taking any notes whatsoever. But that's the key. Learn from the people that are being successful and put that into your own environment. I trained as an accountant, and it was 3 years of hard work to get to a degree. Once you got a degree, you had to then take articles in a firm. It could be 3 to 5 years before you become a chartered accountant. So I knew the benefit of actually using research and books, and just reading any book that you can on network marketing is going to be better than no book on network marketing. Nowadays there's podcasts. Michelle listens to a podcast every day, every morning, and you can get into that habit of doing that, and that's the thing that's going to help you. And the corporate power days will just substantiate that. So even if you don't have a guest to come, get yourself along to that, and that's going to give you a big shot in the arm. But here's the big one. And the big one is conferences. And for me, this is the one that I really relate to, because I joined the business in the 19th of September, 1991. And on the 18th of October, 1991, there was a conference that wasn't in the UK, because we were just very embryonic in the UK. There was one in New Orleans in America. And I took myself to New Orleans in America to the conference because I was seriously kind of like committed to Juice Plus and to the business, but I wanted to find out and create that vision for myself. And I went along to the conference. I saw 10,000 people at that conference and was just blown away by the information and the vision that I created for myself. Look, if this is what's happening in America, it's going to come our way for sure. And if any of you were at Barcelona, that was exactly what we had at Barcelona. It might have taken more than 10 years to actually come, but it did actually come. And those conferences are key. And here's the big thing. We are exactly 1 month away from our next conference. So you've got 1 month to get yourself a ticket if you haven't got yourself a ticket. If you've got a hot prospect that's either not in the business or coming into the business or would like to come into the business, what a great place to start. And I'll tell you, you will be, and your business will be 6 to 9 to 12 months ahead of anyone else that doesn't come to the conference because of the information you're going to pick up there. And I've always kind of had that in mind. My sponsor, well, my upline in America, Bob Burdick, he always says it's the fuel that keeps him going for the next 6 months. And he works his business from conference to conference. And he tells the story that the very first conference he went to, he had 22 people. That he's never made the same mistake again. I once went to a conference and he had 1,000 people for dinner. 1,000 people for dinner. Wow. And some of his kind of dinners are quite interesting because he gets his NMDs and PMDs and all sorts to chip in money. And at one conference, he gave away something like $30,000 to people that, guess what? They had to qualify to get into the draw, but they were then pulling out different checks along the way. And Levi Burdick, his son, I tell you what, he was the happiest man in kind of America when he's counting out, you know, kind of $5,000 to some woman that first time she'd ever been to conference, she managed to qualify to get in the draw with 2 or 3 chitties, and her name was pulled out the draw. You know, fantastic. So the conferences are the key, and you know they don't happen very often. They're in our doorstep, and you know, an hour away. They're an hour away wherever you are. You know, whether a plane journey, you know, maybe 4 hours if you're going to take it by train, but literally we're speaking, it's on our doorstep. And if you think of some of the major kind of countries that Juice Plus are in, we're very lucky that we've only got that kind of distance to go, you know. And it was certainly, New Orleans, that was a big commitment for me to go there. But going up to Edinburgh is equally as exciting as going to New Orleans. So here's the kind of little map that I put together, and I can send this all to you all. You're all going to get it on the recording anyway. But on the outer ring, yeah, the presentations, the coffee mornings, the in-home meetings, the Zoom calls, the interviews that you do with your upline, those are ongoing and they are in the outer circle. Do you see that? Yeah, and that's your responsibility. You really need to kind of work on doing those as much as you can. And what they do is they feed into those other events. And what you need to think about in your diary for 2020 is the next 4 quarters. Where are all the events in the next 4 quarters? Where are the vision days? Where are the trainings? Where are they running that I can actually go along to and keep that fuel, that fire burning? Yeah? Where are the power days that I need to go to understand what's going on and to hear some of the models of the people that I'm going to model from here on in? You know, Dan and Harriet, for goodness sake, you know, they're held out as a great power couple at the moment. You know, they're somebody they're just in high demand. They're speaking tonight in London, but you know, they're also speaking from a corporate point of view as well. And then the red circle in the middle is the half, the 6 monthly conferences that the company are going to lay on. And if you think the color code, the red is the company, the yellow are, you know, national marketing directors. We're laying these on all the time, and the green, I suppose, the green color is you guys. That's your contribution in terms of the events for the year. Does that make sense? Yeah? You're all looking very puzzled. No? Shall we, I'll stop this. Let's unmute yourselves all. Yeah? And let's hear some feedback from everyone. We'll start with Leslie. How about yourself, Leslie? What's your feelings about what you've seen here tonight?
No, good. It's good. I think, like you said, it's not one of the easiest things to do to get people to events because people are full of excuses. But yeah, it's definitely worth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be looking at next month doing something from my home. I'm looking at doing a shake and well-being evening. Yeah. At mine. I'm putting an event on at mine, and I'm going to ask Katie if she would just come along and just give me a little bit of a helping hand. I'd be
Fantastic.
fine, but it's just nice to have another testimonial, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest thing, you know. And even you know, if you give us enough notice to get us on a Zoom call at the end of the evening, and you know, just answer some questions for some of the, you know, the people that are there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. How about you, Natasha? You've moved from your lovely Bristolian hideout to up north. So have you got kind of events up with you? I mean, are you running events yourself?
We haven't run anything yet. We keep doing talking, so it's all in my diary to do. So I've got a list now with a hall down the road that we've waited to hear back from, and we've got lots of payments we want to look into.
Yeah.
Getting them done. I just looked at one of my prospects who looks very promising, and they've disappeared.
Right.
They were added to the store group. They're very enthusiastic. So there's 3 people we're going to go to. I thought I was going to have to walk for tonight.
Yeah. But you know, hey, listen, at the end of the day, that's the nature of our business. You know, we're dealing with people, and people, you know, they come and go, and they need to have substantiation of what they're saying and what they're doing.
Yeah, because I was that person when I first came back to the business. I was that person who was excluded.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That excitement again as well.
Yeah. So what about you, Alicia?
So Harriet created us an event.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping near the time when I sort my shifts out that I can go. I've got a few people lined up to sort of go. I can talk in and out about the products.
And this is an online event, is it?
No, it's an in-person event.
Okay.
I've forgotten where it is, Harriet. Help me out.
We each fill in Henley for the whole tribe in after Edinburgh.
Okay. Great.
Yeah,
Feedback is terrible right now. I can't actually hear anything anyone's saying.
Okay, so maybe I think you've got some feedback in yours, Natasha. Do you want to put yourself on mute for a minute? Okay, here you go, Harriet. That's better.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've planned an event.
Maybe it's you, Alicia. You put yourself on mute. Yeah. Right, go. You planned an event.
Yeah, so SAF's going to be in Bristol in November.
Okay. Brilliant.
So we planned it around SAF being here so we can do one together.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah, it's like obviously we're planning early enough so we can get like enough people there hopefully after the Edinburgh conference.
And the other thing about having SAF coming in is you want to build the fact that you've got this extra special person coming in from Germany to run a meeting or to speak at the meeting, and really, you know, build up SAF, you know, from that point of view, an edifier to your prospective people, and that's going to create excitement, and that's what you want to do, is create excitement.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. Good. Okay. Well, listen, I think what I need to do now is do the draw for this week. I said last week that we would all buy into contributing to do the 50 PCPs this month. And that's brand new PCPs, not reorders. So it's brand new customers. And in a week, we've actually had 14 new PCPs, which is fantastic. And yeah, and an absolute rousing round of applause to everybody. And the excitement it's created has been quite interesting because everybody's bought into it. They've all kind of contributed it. So, you know, Alicia, we've had an order from Alicia. Although to get into the sale, we should really be doing third-party orders as opposed to doing ones for ourselves. But we'll let that one go for the minute. But the real key is to get new customers in our business, and that's what we're really after. So top of the pops is Leslie, followed very closely by Marcel, and then we've had 2 each from Vera and Paula, and then we've had 1 from a number of people. Azra, Alicia, and what's his name? Rachel's husband. What's his name? Lewis. So Lewis has done one as well. So that's great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these up with the drum roll. It's my own computer paper. So and I'm going to pull one out of the hat. And who have we got? We've got Leslie Jane Humphreys. Yay! Well done, Leslie. Well done. So you will be receiving a prize for this week. So expect the Amazon man to come past your house tomorrow. So, but listen, well done. And maybe when you come to Edinburgh, you can share all the secrets of what you've been doing. Maybe you can bring your daughter with you as well. Now there's an interesting one. And guess what? You've done 5 customers this month at the moment. So if you sponsor one person, I think you get the bonus of, is it £50?
Yeah.
So £50 pays. I mean, there's early bird tickets kicking around for 60 quid at the moment, so it pays for your ticket. Almost pays for your ticket. So that I'm selling the event here. I'm selling the event big time.
I know.
Get yourself to Edinburgh. I promise you would not be disappointed. And I am just about to post our team dinner up. And one of the things that we're going to do at the team dinner is we're going to have haggis as a starter. And we've got a piper to pipe the haggis in. And we've got a special person that's going to do the address to the haggis in traditional Robbie Burns style form.
You know that I'm probably going to cry with those bagpipes, don't you?
Really? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It sets me off.
Does it really?
Every time.
What people go like this?
Yeah, me and my dad literally sob, and then we had it at Granddad's funeral. So
oh wow, that's fantastic.
I just pre-warned you.
Well, no, that's great. We're also going to have loads of other teams coming. We kind of decided to open up to a whole load of other teams, so we're going to have some good people there, and it'll be a fantastic evening as well. And literally, when we finish, it's walking distance back to the conference for their party, and it's a white party, as you know, so glamour party and all the rest of it. Okay, well, listen, is there any questions that anyone would want to ask me?
I completely forgot. I'm vegetarian now.
You can either have, I mean, I haven't put together the vegetarian option for the starter, but there is vegetarian haggis if you want. I'm not sure whether that was, we can get it, honestly. It's all vegetarian stuff. But we'll probably do something else that will be vegetarian, and there is a vegetarian option on the menu for the main course.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay, so should we get our cameras out and take a picture?
Yeah.
So that we've all got a picture?
I'm on my phone, so.
All right, okay, well, I'm sure Natasha will send one to you. Right, let's just put this on fuel. There we go. Okay, are we all smiling? And ready, 1, 2, 3, wave! Yay! Fantastic. Mad as hatters we are. All right, well, listen, I hope that's been useful tonight. And, again, it's all about layering and anything that you feel that's worth a comment, and just put it on the action takers and I'll pick it up from there. And all that remains for me to say is listen, enjoy the rest of the evening. And bye-bye. See you in Edinburgh.
Yeah, see you. Thanks, Gordon.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.